Hey everybody, it's GoblinX and welcome back to some more Magic Green, and today we're playing another premiere draft of Edge of Eternities. Without further ado, let's get into the pack one, pick one here, which is a really strong pack. We have an excellent monocolored rare, the Might Form Harmonizer, 4 mana 4/4, and when you landfall, you double the power of a creature you control till end of turn. So play one land and boom, this is an 8/4 attacker. Absolutely insane. But you can also spread the landfall triggers around if you have like a bunch of lander tokens. Getting multiple triggers in one turn can one-shot your opponent really easily. Super powerful monocolored rare, but honestly, Codecracker Hound is probably the stronger card in a vacuum. This is the mythic uncommon of the set, the most busted uncommon. Sibsig Appraiser style, 2-for-1 value play, but now it has warp, so it's a 3-for-1 value play, so it's just consistently fantastic. So Codecracker Hound, I wouldn't be surprised if it's actually a little better than Harmonizer, but Harmonizer is super fun and still quite powerful. So I'm going to take that here. Pick number 2, we've got a Larval Scoutlander. I have been very impressed by this as some ramp. It is particularly good when you have an expendable lander token on board to sacrifice. Very interested in the Scoutlander, and I think it plays super well with our pack 1, pick 1 Harmonizer. So I like taking Scoutlander here. The other massive option is Gravkill, of course, being premium removal if we want to dip into black there, but I'll take the Scoutlander. Pick 3, Orbital Plunge is a removal spell I like a lot, and it's even better when you have landfall triggers like the Harmonizer. Alternatively, Cryogen Relic moving into blue is a reasonable spot to be. This is a great blue spell. And I think blue is a very solid color in the set, but I do really, really like Orbital Plunge. And it has good synergies with what we're doing right now. Pick number 4, we're locking in, baby. Second Scoutlander. Mouth of the Storm's been pretty good. I've played against this a lot, and it has been pretty nasty. But double Scoutlander gives us a really clear direction for this deck. Pick 5. Curiosity's pretty filler. Don't like the red spell much, so speculate off color for one of these decent value uncommons. I think Gravship is more likely to synergize well with a heavy green deck. Just some graveyard recursion value. Plus green has beef to station this pretty easily, just double tapping your 4 mana 4/4 trample or whatever will get it stationed quickly. Navigator I think is better in a little quicker decks, but we already have 2 Spacecraft, so we have ways to tap the navigators without attacking with them, which is reasonable. Guideline Station's just unplayable. Poop in this set. Nothing good in green or black. So I guess at this point I really don't have a choice but to speculate on Navigator. Taps 2/2 for each multicolored permanent you control. That's going to be 1 or 2 if we have a random signpost uncommon. Station 12 is so big. You know what? I'm going to take it anyway. Because it would be funny if I can't do anything good here to see if I can just do something silly and try to do this in at least one draft. Maybe if we get past a bunch of random signposts and uncommons nobody's taking, I'll try to do the thing. I have double Scoutlander, which can get 2 different colors of basics off of each of these individually. So we can really get to 5 color. Again, I don't think that it's the right thing to do ever, even when you can try to do it with cards like Scoutlander, because the payoff is so minimal. But it is kind of something to check off the bucket list, you know? Get it done. And I guess we're going to get it done here, because there's Survey Mechan. 1 less to activate for each differently named land you control. If you have 1 of each basic, that is 5 mana, deal 3, draw 3, and gain 3. So we stick deep to green, take every Scoutlander and Lander token we see, run 1 of every basic to get to the Guideline Station to make the Survey Mechan cheap. This is no longer a draft about drafting the strongest deck that we can and giving you all tips and tricks to win your own drafts. This is a draft to check something off the bucket list. We're gonna do Infinite Guideline Station. Let's go. Let's get this over with. Bunch of filler stuff in the end. And let's see what Pack 2 has for us. Emissary Escort. Plus X plus O, where X is the greatest mana value among other artifacts you control. Be a 5/4 with an infinite guideline station on board. But I think Monoist Circuit Feeder could be pretty good. If we go deeper into black as the secondary color, everything else is the splash. We've got Grav Ship plus Circuit Feeder there. 2 Scoutlanders for artifacts, a Grav Ship for an artifact. We only really need 2 on the board for this to be good. Like -2 or -3 to somebody can definitely get some kills. Diplomatic Relations is probably the safer pick, because green's definitely going to be our deepest color, but we also need creatures on board to use this as removal. And I currently don't have a lot. I'm going to go for the Circuit Feeder. It's pretty close there, though. Pack 2, pick 2. Blue-white Signpost uncommon, just to have something to trigger the Guideline Station, even though it sucks every other time. I mean, it's incredible in blue-white. I just mean it sucks for this deck, because by the time that I have ramped or, fixed my way into blue and white, I'm definitely not double spelling. Sorry, did not mean to say this card sucks. This card is excellent, just not in this deck. And I'd rather Plasma Bolt or Fungal Colossus, all 5 land types. Watery Grave. Watery Grave is a differently named land for Survey Mechan and a differently named land for Fungal Colossus. If we wheel some of those, I'm gonna Watery Grave. All in, baby. All in. Here is a Signpost uncommon that's not horrific, because I already want to take a decent artifact count for Circuit Feeder, and I already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 artifacts. It's still not particularly good, but it's a way to get a multicolored permanent on the board for the Guideline Station, and there are so few multicolored permanents in this set. It's kind of hard to take that over you social engineering, though, in a deck that's definitely going to use as many lander tokens as it can get its hands on. And this card is really good with lander tokens. I'll go engineering over that. Little sad about it. Pick 4. 5 mana, deal 3. Not great, but it is an artifact. A Virus Beetle here, getting deeper into black and getting another artifact for Circuit Feeder. Or Diplomatic Relations, again, without a ton of great creatures for it. I'm going to take the Beetle. Pick 5. Oh my god, how deep are we going? Memorial Vault levels of deep? No, it's just not going to be good. Blade of the Swarm, Plasma Bolt. Grab a Plasma Bolt. Pick 6. There's a Scrap Bot. Mechan and Virus Beetle also look fine. If we play red at the core, Mechan will be good ramp, and if we play black at the core, Virus Beetle's another artifact for Circuit Feeder. But I'm going to go Scrap Bot and get more landers. Pick number 7. This pack just looks bad. Period. I'm definitely not playing a Hilder Blade, so in case we end up deeper on red than black, take a random filler red creature like Scrapper. Can draw us cards when we're flooding. Another Thawbringer easy, because green's a core color to the deck. It's the core color to the deck. Wield a Fungal Colossus. Pretty perfect. Nothing much here. Nothing much here either. And it's just the saddest part about the Infinite Guideline Station. It's like, even when you can pull off 5 color, which is not often in the set, the only multicolored cards that exist are the Signpost uncommons, which are often just miserably bad when you're not in their 2-color archetype. Like trying to do the blue-white double spell thing when blue and white are our major splashes. We're taking the blue-red artifact card in our 5-color deck, which just gets some +1/+1 counters. They would all just be so awful in this deck any time when I didn't literally draw the Guideline Station. That would be the one time they wouldn't be awful. And there it is again. here to be awful when I don't draw Guideline Station. I probably should just take a Banishing Light here, but if we make it to turn 4 without getting hit, mill our opponent for 20 cards, more than half their deck. It's going to be hard to do, though. I need to be unscathed and hit both of my lightest colors. Yeah, I'd rather just take a Banishing Light. I have a way to sacrifice artifacts. Oh my god, I have double Scrapper. Then every time I play an artifact, I get a munitions, I sack them to Scrapper, I deal 2, turn them into removal spells. Dubious Delicacy is way better and way more consistent. I only have 2 cards in the entire deck that can sacrifice the tokens. Yeah, and I gotta take Dubious Delicacy. Because I'm also probably, again, a lot deeper on black than red, so I don't really want to run red 1-drops like the Scrappers. Just splashing the red for these 3. Pack 3, pick 3. Dirgecraft, Crasher, Virus Beetle. These are all fine. I'll go for another Virus Beetle, just more early chumpers. I have so few 2-mana plays. Another Dubious Delicacy, or a Godmaw. Godmaw's a finisher that also fixes us. There's also Sammy. Finally get some other multicolored permanent for the Guideline Station. Why did Sammy have to show up in the same pack as Glacier Godmaw? Like, Craterhoof Behemoth, one of the best uncommons in the whole set. It's also the same pack as a Dubious Delicacy that's really good. Man. This draft is just a PSA to never do the Guideline Station thing. Honestly, the stuff we're doing with, like, Fungal Colossus and maybe an All-Fate Scroll is going to be, like, more worth it than the Station. Although I don't know if I can take Scroll over Plunge. I'm going to take Plunge here. It's another Colossus, though. That's fun. Wayfarer is absolutely beautiful. Mago off the splash would not be horrendous. I don't know if I'm playing these Plasma Bolts in the end. Alright, I'll take this Signpost uncommon finally. Depressurize is good removal, but I have just taken a bunch. Let's have at least one other multicolored permanent. Pick 9 is absolute poop. I will take a 2-drop I can play no matter what's happening to my mana. Manufacturing Wield, but this is not the time to try to play Scrappers, and I only have 2 in the first place. Alright. I think this deck is very bad. But now I can officially say that I tried to do the thing. In before, this does better than our deck did yesterday. Our green deck, where we just had horrendously bad luck, even though the deck itself was quite good. Honestly, with how unlucky we got with that deck, I wouldn't be surprised if this deck somehow does better. I suppose we'll find out soon enough. Because this should be a pretty quick build, because it's just absolute nonsense, so find the filleriest stuff. 5 cuts. 1, 2. I mean, Thawbringer's good with stationing Spacecraft. We're at 12 here, and then some 7s there, and an 8 there. Yeah, I like 3 mana, 4 power. I think that is pretty relevant. I mean, the Scrapbot and the Wayfarers are so much more relevant, though. The Scoutlanders. Am I just on no 2 mana plays at all? I just hope Plasma Bolt's enough to save me early. Sure, get rid of the Virus Beetles, get into the gameplay, and see how this nonsense does. Alright, here we are for game 1, and we are actually doing it. Let's see, green, black, sack the second swamp. 4 colors on turn 4. I don't have anything to cast with those 4 colors, but if I draw anything to, then I'll be ready. Double Thawbringer, we could get some just immediate... Oh my god, we drew the guideline station. Get some immediate stations going pretty easily. Okay, now I kind of want to Thawbringer and set up the Surveils. I want to draw one of my other colors here first, then I can Scoutlander for the last 2. I want to get 3 of my colors, then Scoutlander for whichever are left for the guideline station. And this gives me time, again, putting these Thawbringers out to have them ready to help station all my stuff. So blue-red from our opponent, generally an artifact archetype. Cryo Shatter the Thawbringer. That is a shame. Just I Surveil off the death trigger since I can't station with it anyway. No, not another green. Another Thawbringer, let's go. There we go, red. Okay. So then I get to sack... I was gonna say sack a forest, but because I have the Social Engineering in hand, maybe not. Maybe I'll have to sack a swamp. Kind of want to sack a forest because I have multiple double black cards in the deck. But because I have the double green in hand, I'm gonna have to sack the swamp instead. Okay. Let me draw a card. Don't, I need these to station. That's okay, I'll just get a million 2/2 robots instead. Blue, white. Boom, boom. I can chump the elemental next turn for another Surveil. Uthros Exile. If they're only going to hit for 2, I probably don't need to chump just yet. Orbital Plunge is the draw. It's quite good when I have an engineering on the board. This is the craziest part. I have the guideline station mana. And it's just far from the best thing I can be doing right now. I think we plunge that. Finish the station. And keep the lander around for now. I can go engineering plus land plus crack a lander. Okay, please don't concede yet. Let me cast this next turn. I cannot go this whole draft without actually casting the station, even though it's like a weaker play these last few turns. Ooh, that freighter is actually very good against all these tokens. Strong. Outlander again with the engineering out. That's sick. I'm playing the station immediately though, just to make sure I actually do that. One, two, three, four. Finish it off next turn when it's not summoning sick. They're down to 4. This is really just a use social engineering deck. Pretty sure I had to take this over one of the signpost uncommons or something. That would have made the guideline station better, but as you can see from the very first game of Magic of today, this card is way better in our deck than even Infinite Guideline Station is. Nexus of Fate is on the bonus sheet. Oh my god, can you imagine losing an Arena Direct to somebody just like Nexus of Fate looping you? That's a wild choice for a reprint. Got their Panharmonicon Duder out. Oh, they scooped. I was gonna landfall, get a robot, try to station the guideline station and see if we can get the kill literally with the guideline station. But whatever, we won a game with this absolute pile. We take those. I would take a 1-3 as a victory here, but maybe we'll do better than our last deck. We'll see. We are 1-0 heading into game 2. I gotta draw a forest pretty badly. But if we do, the engineering is all the creatures that I need. Well, I mean, I need 2 forests eventually. So I've got the bolt for their first threat, and then I'll have my own 2/2 if I hit a forest. And then, you know, turn 6 onward, keep getting 2/2s. Oh dear. I would like to thank Plasma Bolt for keeping me alive for now. Very, very necessary with the way we've drawn. Ayo. Boku's got green mana. That gives first strike to itself too. So can't even block it with a Thawbringer. I take like 3 damage next turn though. That's pretty fine. We need to set up our draws. Let's get the Surveil here. Second black source for Circuit Feeder. Oh, that's so awkward to see. Because I think second green is more important. I only have the 1 artifact here for that card. But if I mill that, I have so few black sources left in the deck. But I have a lot of land searching, so I'll get rid of the swamp. Wormwall Sweeper. Stations into being a 2/2 flyer. That's all it is. No blocks. And they pass. Oh no, I drew the only other double black card in the deck. That's so awkward. Warp. Get my 2/2. Poke for 4. Banish a modifier. Oh, I really should have kept the swamp. I forgot the robots are artifacts too for the circuit feeder. So we could have gotten the circuit feeder to -2/-2 off of the warp that turn. Heyo. Great draw. I have to pick black instead of green? Ew. Not a fan. Ooh, 2 to each creature. Okay. Surveil 1 then. Let's go. So we play the Wayfarer. We keep the Lander token around, so I don't shuffle away this forest, so that I can go forest and use social engineering next turn, and then I also have a Lander token ready for it. Okay, I got really scared when I saw that stat line, and then I was like, oh, it's a Spacecraft, so it's not hitting me yet. Anyway. You are more than welcome to vote out my 3/3. Ooh. The Fungi Colossus. I need a second black, though, so I cannot get my blue to have all 5 land types as cool as that would be. Station the Saw Ship. No, Corral, too? Oh my god. And the fact that they get a Lander token means that they will trigger the Void. Yeah, if I don't just kill the 3/3 here, then they get to crack the Lander token to trigger Void and make sure they get to keep the aura on the board anyway. That's tragic. Not double spell here. I would have needed 1 more land for that. Would have been great, though. Hit for 9? Have a Death Touch lifelinking blocker? That's interesting. Or I could have a bunch of 2/2s. I think I go Servandum here. Put me to 1 off of this attack. Oh wait, if they station the Sweeper, I'm just dead. I should have played the Scout Lantern. Oh my god. What a mega bomb. Yeah, that's just dead, because then they get Servana back. Alright. Got rared out super hard with Corral and Battleship there. Until then, they kind of just dirtled and didn't do much, but the problem is our deck really dirtles and doesn't do much, so they were still faster than us. Alright, game 3. Blue-red, there's a shield mate to start them off. That's got 2 toughness. So, my 2/2 robot can block and kill it if they play an artifact to let it attack. Greatly appreciate a lander token to the point where I'd rather play Prospector than Thawbringer right now. There's their Relic to draw a card. Ping me for 1 with the Ardent. I am incredibly happy to trade this into the creature or a combat trick. Let's go get the lander token. Absolutely beautiful. Just a phenomenal exchange for us. Do not counter. Thank you. Double spell, they get 2/2s. Not removal. Uh-oh. Spaghetti-o. Survive them and kill them next turn. +1/+0 to everybody. Death touch. Go team go. Go 5 billion creatures go. Whee! We have been so lucky to draw this engineering every game, or we really would not have been doing anything. Go to 8. Sure, double removal next turn seems reasonable enough. Banishing Light Delicacy as the play. Steel Swarm Operator. Oh, I got this mixed up. This isn't the double spell 2/2. It's play an artifact 2/2. That was quite the swing in the board state, but they might still just be dead. Let's see. Math is for blockers. Oh yeah, I can throw the delicacy at them for 3 to the face, so they're definitely dead. 2-1. If I win one more game of Magic, this deck is officially objectively better than the last one we drafted, and you can't tell me otherwise. We have a goal of what we're ramping towards with this hand. Ho ho ho. Ho ho ho. Dockworker Drone starts things off from our opponent on turn 2. I'm gonna warp. And get a blocker immediately. No, Dockworker Drone's so good. They just make that a 4/4. Or not. I think I need to get you social engineering out before the guideline station again, which means I need to get a green and then one of the other two colors. So I can engineering. We've drawn our one copy of engineering every single game. And it has been so good. They have quite the board, but so shall we. Ooh. 3 to any target. That'll be 5 mana to activate. Still 9, so 4 to play, 5 to crack. I'll have 7 mana next turn. It is a 1/3 hexproofing blocker to block the Monoist, but then they just hardcast Beckoner and buff Monoist anyway. I think I'm going wide and ramping instead for now. If I tap 4 of my creatures, I can have one of these crude. Double block there, double block there. I could tap one of these at least. I think that's all I can easily afford to tap here, because we are really on the defensive. If we can just survive, tell like Godma, that with the whole wide board could definitely get a win. No way! Oh my god. That card's not even a good main deck card! Why? They got rid of the guideline station. That's funny. That was the worst card in my hand, but it looks the scariest. I'm literally dead right now anyway, no matter what I do. The best I can do is play one blocker and then die. I have 3 different ways to do that. Ah. Wild. Alright, 2-2. And into game number 5, our final chance to do better than yesterday's deck, but this at least tied with it at worst, so. Pretty wild stuff from a very bad deck. Ooh, that mana's bad, but 1 land gets to scrap bot and then it's great. This is a gambly deck, so I'm gambling on scrap bot. Excuse me. No. We drew a Wooburg spell instead of a land. And we are right back to where we were yesterday. Arena just deciding I'm not allowed to play in Edge of Eternities. Oh my god, these draws are genuinely wild. Don't mind me. I will just lose every coin flip. At this rate, I don't expect them to play a ton of things that die to a plasma bolt. Our first land draw is here, and we only had to wait till turn 7, baby. Probably don't need both of these. Definitely need as many blockers as I can cast, and I'd like to hold on to Grav Ship. Which I guess at worst gets a Scoutlander back now, but if we somehow survive a really long time, it gets the Guideline Station back. Pretty massive turn next turn, but it's so late in the game by now. It's like turn 9 or 10 at this point by our next turn. That they've just had all the time in the world to set up. It's very surprising we didn't just die already by now, but they had a relatively slow start. I mean, relative to ours, it was pretty fast, but any normal game of Magic, a very, very slow start. Pretty likely to die however I play this. I'm gonna go for the Void trigger to get the Grav Ship out of the sky. I think that's our best bet, but again, we're still probably dead. But this way we might not be dead next turn, at least. Feel like one of the few lines that we might have if they get really unlucky and just have like nothing here is maybe trying to get an oops lethal with Harmonizer and Colossus. This Grav Ship could pick up a Scoutlander. That'll double the power twice, so 5 to 10, 10 to 20. So if they ever attack to where the 5/5 could get in, that would be a line, but that would require them having pretty much literally nothing here. Which is tremendously unlikely. Yeah, that is far from nothing. That is a card draw engine. And the other way the Colossus Harmonizer thing could happen is if they play it just infinitely too aggressively. It's highly unlikely, but there is a chance. I think, let's see, how much mana would this all cost? So 3 to Gravship back a Scoutlander, 3 to Warp a Harmonizer, and 3 to then cast the Scoutlander. So 9 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8 after using Plunge. So I have to top deck a land for that to work. It's probably not going to happen, but... I could grab ship back to Scoutlander right now, but then I still have Summoning Sickness. Take 4 damage if I station. So I'm not gonna station. If they don't kill Colossus, and they tap out, and they hold 0 blockers up, I can lethal them. And I top deck a basic. Okay. We cannot do that. I don't have the mana to cast Nebula Dragon still. Feels like I played infinite ramp spells now, but this is the same game. I didn't draw a single land till like turn 7. I would need 10 mana to pick up Dragon and cast it immediately. Just pick up the Guideline Station and pray. It doesn't even really do much of anything. Should have stationed this one instead of that one. That was wrong. Okay, lifelinker. It's interesting. I guess this graph ship's already a lifelinker. Yeah, I just got a Nebula Dragon. Yeah, I played that wrong. I should have the lifelinking blocker up, I think. Whoa. Clicking the wrong button to skip through the turn. The last card of combat trick. Their last card is a land and I top deck a land? Oh my god, or if I top deck that. It's 4 mana to activate. What 1 mana spells do I have left in my deck? None. I have no 1 mana spells to draw into. What 2 mana spells? Beam Saw Prospector. So I need a black up. So 4 to play. Four to crack. draw 3 and gain 3. There's the Prospector we held the black up for. It's the trigger to station the Grav ship. And then the Prospector has enough power to trade into Virus Beetle on blocks. And I have enough life to not die anyway. Then I can start double powering the lifelinker each turn. Would rather not trigger Void. What, they already triggered Void with their lander token or something. Well, still would rather not take the trade either way. 5 toughness blocker. Shame. Probably gonna trade into the Grav ship then. Lander token from Beam Saw Prospector is actually very, very powerful with a Harmonizer on board. Clear their board. I can hit for 14 damage next turn if they don't draw a creature or a removal. We have no business having made it this far. What a bummer way to end it after all that. Could I have just the tiniest break in this set arena? I'd appreciate it. Two and 3, same record as yesterday. This is the record we die on, I guess. 1-3, 2-3, 2-3 these last few drafts. I'm not having fun. That game took about 4 times as long as I thought it would, so at least there's that. We got... If they didn't have a board wipe, we got insanely close to flipping that around and winning it after drawing no lands for the first 7 turns. So that was absolutely wild. Yeah, this deck is not good. This was just trying to do the goofy guideline station stuff. We never stationed it, but I did cast it once. I would never recommend playing this card. It makes your deck... There's so many concessions you have to make for your deck to get a 5-color card like this in it. And then not only do you have to do that, but you also have to run a bunch of 2-color spells, ideally, which are all pretty narrow, pretty specific signpost uncommons. You just have to do so many bad things to your deck for a card that isn't even that good once you do all those things. And like if you do hit the 5 mana, just because there's so few multicolored cards to actually work with it. So if you're trying to win, pretend this card doesn't exist and never draft it. That said, some of the other payoffs I think are actually reasonable. Survey Mechan does pay off quite a bit. Its activated ability is very powerful if you have different lands on the board, and it's really easy to cast no matter what's happening to your mana. You're going to get it onto the board. The Fungal Colossus as well. Green is very likely to be the core color of your deck, and you don't have to hit Wooburg for it to be good. It's just if you do, then it helps you later in the game to stabilize by being like 2 mana. You play this for 2 and this for 3, something like that. I think these kinds of cards are genuinely good, really helpful cards, like good reasons to splash in a little bit of some other colors just for random removal or something and have, you know, a one of copy of like a third or fourth color of basic. I think these cards can actually be solid payoffs for this kind of strategy, but the guideline station, it's more goofy than anything. But yeah, green-based ramp decks can still be pretty powerful. Pretty much all of our wins, all of our games where it seemed like we might have stood a chance were just because of how good Scoutlander is, in particular with you social engineering. So it's just good green ramp stuff. But normally you want to stick to like 3 or 4 color ramp with tiny splashes into another color and just use these smaller 4 color kind of payoffs and not the full on guideline station. But hey, weirdly fun run there, weirdly successful run. Our deck did really pop off in the 2 games that we won, and our final loss. It kind of, the fact that it almost turned that game around was pretty impressive too. So impressive stuff for a deck that I was entirely doing for memes. Even though it is technically a 2 and 3 in the end, we'll take it. But that is gonna end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below, and if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.